Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm excited to be with you here today to share something with you that I think can help you dramatically make sure that your mindset is correct for the shifting that we have taking place in our world. One of the things that's really important for everybody to understand is that our business is cyclical, which is what makes it so much fun, what makes it so much predictable, and can make it so much profitable, whether it be something as simple as spring break coming up. A lot of staff meetings get a little tighter. A lot of teachers, of course, are gone, and so on and so on. It's important to understand that whatever it is that you're leveraging right now, we always have to make some type of adjustment. Whether that adjustment simply be leveraging more technology. We got a lot of our people that are generating a lot of leads electronically. They're generating leads, they're buying leads, and or appointments, I should say. They're relying heavily on technology to make sure that, again, you're understanding everything you possibly can to increase your closing rate, whether you're doing it electronically or in person. We're not seeing a lot of back to in-person type of events because, to be honest with you, a lot of us don't want to go back to in-person as much as working remotely. And so that's something that you have to understand, that if you want to continue to do that, make sure you work on your craft, as we say, and sharpen your saw by doing that. The one thing that I have heard a lot of positive feedback from is the flow code. And so I encourage everybody here that wants to continue to do that or is interested in leveraging more of the technology side to go ahead and leverage flow code. If you don't know what flow code is, go to our YouTube channel and watch the video on flow code. And I thank everybody for the feedback, because remember, I like to know what works for most people and maybe sometimes what doesn't work for a lot of people. And then we just simply change it up. But we don't bring anything to the table unless it's time tested and proven. This week, I'm going to hit a few of you up. I have a few appointments that I can't run. I have an event coming up on Thursday that I'm going to be getting together with some teammates. And so therefore, I have an online appointment myself with a teacher. I can't do it. So I'm going to hit some of you up if you can help me out with that. And I have two others that I need to also handle. And so if you're not leveraging the power of either email marketing, or better yet, just buy the leads. If you want to go ahead and gravitate into that side of the house, I'm telling you right now that if you understand the power of that, you're going to want to stick to that virtual world, if you would, because it makes it so much more easier than in-person events. The other thing is in-person events are never going to go away. So there are always a lot of opportunities for you to go ahead and leverage them if you are prepared. One thing I wanted to just start by saying, let me just go ahead and throw this up on the screen. I wanted to thank Mr. Stephen Bryan. Stephen was with me this past, what was it, Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, Payday Wednesday at the LAPD. We were at the LAPD Van Nuys station, and what we did is we helped work a barbecue, a fundraising barbecue. It went really, really well. He did an excellent job. It was his very first live event. The only thing that went sideways on us was the fact that we actually have these half-page raffle entry forms always used. And the reason that we do that is because we use the half-page ones because they are really, really big. And so remember, it sounds like it's the raffle that we're after, but in reality, what we're after, of course, are the actual entry boxes on the bottom. I'm interested in receiving tax-free retirement income, and that's for us. And so that's exactly what we want to do. The problem was that we left it in the hands of the organizer, and he printed up the raffle cards. He shrunk them down about 75%, made them the size of a business card, and nobody could really read the actual box on the bottom. But for me, I was there primarily to show Stephen how it works. So I really wasn't overly concerned with that, even though I don't like to leave anything to chance. The one thing we left to chance, or to them, they kind of screwed up for us. But overall, though, like I said, these live events are super important because unlike the virtual events that we have, it's just not the same. What's really nice about this is the fact that you can go there and see them face to face, eye to eye, make contact. I picked up a few contacts. We're going to go back for the jail division. That there's actually a jail inside of Van Nuys, and we're going to work with them. I think he said 14, 16 staff members per shift. So we're going to go knock out a few of those, and we're not going to leave anything to chance, because we're going to bring our own questionnaires now. And again, something we never would have done by doing it virtually. Also, on top of that, the closing ratio, or the overall ratio for virtual events, is lower as it relates to the number of people that keep the appointments, number of people that actually buy, and so on, because it's, of course, virtual. But again, there's nothing wrong with you working both sides of the table. And so what I mean by that, if you are going to work live events, and you have the availability, then go ahead and work, the virtual ones as well, and vice versa. I don't like to be too top heavy on any one market or any one leader or any one of anything. I like to have a multi-legged stool. And the way I do that is by, again, I showed up to this event because I wanted to train Stephen, but also to make sure that, again, I'm up to speed on what's going on out there in the market. And I'm very glad that I did. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Stephen. I don't know if Stephen is on. Stephen, oh, he is on. Okay, Stephen.
Okay.
Okay, can you give us your thoughts? Anything, please?
Sure. Again, being my first event, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew what needed to be done. Like you said, I think the guy changing the form was a little bit of a frustration, but you showed me how just to kind of aggressively follow that up verbally so we wouldn't lose people's attention on that. It was a good event. We raised good money for them, connected to a few people, good connection with the police department, nice guys. And I appreciate the opportunity, Javier, very much.
Good and great job. Like I said, great job with everything. So I just wanted to take a moment to do that and to thank you publicly for that as well. And I think that this is really what it's all about. Now, the only thing that we did differently in this particular barbecue that I don't do anymore is I always use the Las Vegas certificates or vacation certificates for two things that I want to share to you. If you have one of these marketing certificates accounts, remember, you can use it as the only raffle prize, if you would, 5 days, 4 days, 3 nights in Las Vegas. People love it. And so what we had there is if anybody checked off one of the boxes, that, by the way, the boxes were gone because the guy shrunk it and got rid of the boxes, then we award them on the spot an actual 4 day, 3 night stay in Las Vegas. As you can see, that's the placard or the sign holder that you see there. And then on top of that, what I do, I like to overlap everything. I went ahead and collected the emails. I went and sent them all an email simply saying, hey, thank you for supporting the fundraising barbecue. Here's another chance to go ahead and for you to go ahead and earn or receive, I should say, a Las Vegas vacation. And I just simply gave it away for anybody interested in the actual tax-free retirement income approach. And so there are multiple ways that when you're thinking as a marketer, you're going to get multiple bites at the apple. And so my recommendation to everybody is to make sure you have this account, because what's really nice about Marketing Boost, they surpassed 10,000 companies right now. I was probably number 10, 11 when they first started, and I came across them. And so literally I was like number 10, 11 that hooked up with them. And now they're at 10,000. They actually asked me to come in. They had a big virtual summit where literally, I wouldn't say 10,000, but a lot of people came together all over the country to listen to Marketing Boost. And they asked me to speak, and I went ahead and did that virtually. And the feedback's incredible. 10,000 customers that they have now, companies that use it. And so it works. Marketing certificates is where you want to go. Now, the one challenge that I see time and time again is people get the account, but they don't use it. And that's a whole different ballgame. Can't help you there. It's kind of like your life insurance license. You can have it, but not use it. It does you no good. It makes you no money. And so my recommendation is, if you're going to have that, to go ahead and leverage it. And it doesn't have to be just police. You could do a lot of events with schools. You could do a lot of events. So my question is, what do you want to go after? What markets do you want to go after? And then, of course, you can leverage it then. Part of the reason that I'm getting all these appointments for free, by the way, via email, is because I have an online presence. I have obviously the in-person one with like what you saw right there. And then, of course, I do a lot of email marketing as well. Again, all you need is a good list and shoot it out to them. And the reason that they're making these appointments with them is because after their appointment, we actually give them the vacation, which makes no difference to me. Even if that's all they wanted, I still have their verified email now, which means I can hit them up again in the future and then automate it. Yesterday I got an email, 9,800 teachers received my email at 7:58 a.m., which is the way I wanted it, right in the morning. And, I wasn't there. I was actually on my way to have breakfast with some of our teammates. And so you can automate the marketing side, especially if you do it via email. And that's what I would encourage you to do. And then lastly, the only thing I really wanted to do with you today was share. And what I wanted to share is just an ebook. I'm not going to go into too much in detail, but I just want to put it in your hands so that way you can go ahead and have it. It's a very simple, short ebook. Let's see. Well, nobody has a camera. Can you guys see this thing that says 13 Secrets?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just go in here and adjust this so you can see it better on the screen. And what this simply shows you It's a book. It's an ebook. I love it, and I encourage you to take a look at it from time to time. And it simply says 13 secrets of world-class goal achievers. One of the things that I do when I coach people, which I don't do it, I don't have the time to do it one-on-one anymore. But when I did, I always tell every time I saw somebody, I always asked them, "What's your goal for this year?" And then we would just reverse engineer it on a monthly basis to see how you're doing, and then we would reverse engineer it on the weekly basis to see how many applications you submitted. And it's amazing how many people just simply had literally no specific number in mind for the year, and as a result, they have really, really low, if no production. And after a while, you just get depressed. You get you just bring yourself down and you quit. And that, of course, exacerbates the problem of not hitting your goals. And so 13 Secrets of World-Class Goal Achievers it's a pretty cool, simple, easy to read book. I'll run over with you. I'm not going to get into detail, but just give you some food for thought. Secret number one, big doers are big dreamers. And if I was to ask you a very simple question, because one thing I learned, over the years, and I mean, a lot of years, has been that people really don't want the money per se as the money. It's the lifestyle that they're after. And it's amazing how if you got 5 people, you ask them about their dream lifestyle, they'll give you 5 different answers, and they're all right. And so that's one of the things that I also learned as we get older, and I mean older, I feel, just past 50 now. I was telling my wife, she's like, "Nah, that's kind of young." I go, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about young, because the average lifespan for a male is 72. And so, for 50 is that, that's what, 22 years out of the 22, when people are blessed enough to make it to 72, they usually have a couple of health issues the years leading up to their death. And so that puts you somewhere in your 60s when, things start to go sideways. That leaves you under 20. I mean, we got to get busy making our dreams a reality, or better yet, living our dreams. And so, no, we don't have a lot of time. Don't kid yourself. Don't blow smoke. Understand that time is very, very precious and very limited. And again, if I'm feeling that way at 50 and I'm big boy enough to take a look at the facts and say that, man, that is not a lot of time, I encourage you to take a look at it and don't panic over it, but just simply let yourself know that, hey, we got to get going, man. We're not getting any younger. And that's exactly what they mean. So big doers are big dreamers. And if I was to ask you, what's your dream lifestyle? Why are you here? What are you trying to achieve? The bigger picture. I'm not talking about a ring, or I'm not talking about it. What is it that what makes you you? And most importantly, what fulfills you? What is it that you're after? What's your ideal lifestyle? Anybody?
Javier, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, for me, I think that it's really about time freedom and being able to be where I want to be, when I want to be, wake up when I'm finished sleeping. I mean, it's no stress, but I know that's probably like really small for the average person, but for me, it's huge. Having come out of, environments where it was super stressful with, military and things of that nature. So for me, it's more of a laid back, drama free, but also a lot of traveling. So I've traveled before and I want to get back into that as well, right? So building a future where I can be with my family and just really no limitations on the amount of time I can spend with them, somewhere in the world, right? So that's primarily what I want in this, because I'm like you, I'm approaching 50 in about 3 years. So
there you go. Not getting here. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Anybody else? And the reason that I ask you guys, just so you know, is because I'm very careful. I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. I am very stingy with my time. I'm very generous with anything else, but I'm not stupid enough to waste my time on people that sometimes don't know where the hell they want to go or what they want to achieve. And so I avoid people like that, like the plague, because of the simple fact that if you're not lost and you hang around with people that are lost, all they can do for you is get you lost. So you got to be a big boy and a big girl sometimes and choose who you interact with carefully. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting anybody here. I'm just simply saying that if I really, really want to run with somebody, and there's a lot of you that I run with, I'm only running with you because I know that you are trying to get somewhere. There's a lot of people, I'll summarize it. There's 3 types of people in this world: those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those that wonder what happened. I mean, where did time go? I'm 30, I'm 50, I'm 60. And what happened? Well, part of it was that, there was nothing attached to it in the form of dreams. And sometimes we suffer from the shaft syndrome. We've been shafted so many times in life that we find it very difficult to dream. And so therefore, like I'm saying, I'm all for it. If somebody comes up to me and I look at it and I know this person suffers from shaft syndrome, I don't try to sit there and heal them and rehabilitate them, and I just stay the hell away. There's no time for that. That's an individual thing. And so that's why I'm saying it's important to do that. Anybody else? What's your dream lifestyle? I mean, what are you looking for? What is it you're after? Anybody?
Hey, Javier.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm on board with what the young lady said, being able to travel, but not just that, being able to travel and not really worry when you have to come back or anything like that. Because a lot of times when we do travel, we're trying to do the most get the most out of our bucks because, you know, we want to take all the opportunity of that time that we're being out there. But I feel like if we can travel and still sleep while we on vacation, because we're not worried about when we got to get back, that's the ultimate lifestyle.
That's cool. That's outstanding. Outstanding. Anybody else? I mean, anybody else about anything?
Javier.
Go ahead.
This is kind of interesting. What you just said, that quote that you said, I was actually listening to Les Brown this morning and he mentioned it. So it's a kind of, I don't believe in coincidences. So I think it's kind of interesting that you said that, but I want to live my life the way that I explain it to my clients, living on my terms, doing what I want to do, having the freedom to do as I want and not worry about money and to be able to provide for my family. And I think it's really important that you brought up the age thing because I think a lot changes as you get older. I turned 48 this year and I just think about what my perspective was on life when I was young. Like money is not important and it's important to be happy. But now I'm realizing that the freedom that money buys you, it allows you to have and be able to create the life that you really want.
Perfect. Thank you. And I mean, I'm with you. I mean, like I told you, I mean, you guys all know me. I'm the person that least thinks about it in the sense of being infatuated with money or anything like that. But I will tell you right now that, you know, I love having the multiple streams of income, most of it being passive, because that's what sets us free. And I learned my lesson when I was a police officer. I looked up to some of the people that I thought were the coolest people on earth that were very, very wealthy. They lived within the division that I worked at. And one thing I noticed about most of them is they could never get off the treadmill. My question to them was, Mr. So-and-so, when do you get to enjoy it? When do you get to enjoy it? And he's like, real soon. He called me Rodriguez. Real soon, Rodriguez, I'm going to sell it all over this. And then to the day that, he told me that he was with stage 4 cancer, only to pass away. And he killed himself his first half of his life. Worked 3 dishwashing jobs, ate for 2 years. Hot dogs is what he was able to eat, all he could afford, all to make it work. And he did make it work, became a multi-millionaire. But unfortunately, like I said, it ended up being something to the point that he never got a chance to even enjoy it. And then he died, everything fell apart, his family fell apart. And so to me, I was like, well, that's not quite what I want. And so, like I said, I would rather make $500,000, I'm telling you right now, and live life on my terms than somebody coming to me and say, look, if you do this and this and this, you can make it up to $1 million a year. I would say, no, thank you. Because of the simple fact that to me, several of you have said it, it's about living life on your terms. And I'm with Anthony. I know that there was a point in my life when we traveled and the rule was pack a sandwich, because we sure as hell ain't going to pay $10 for a sandwich at the airport, which is now $16 at the airport nowadays. And so for me, it just simply meant not having to worry about anything. And so, and I don't say arrogant, but I'm just saying that, I've been there, done that many a times, and I don't do broke too well. That's one thing I learned about myself, that if I have a choice between helping others and in the process, helping the people closest to me, I'd rather do that. Yesterday we were playing golf. This coming week, we're going to be playing golf again with another group of people that I don't do it for any other reason other than I love going there. And I love sharing. I mean, if I was to tell you one thing I learned a long time ago from Tony Robbins was a quote he uses, and not a quote, but he explains what relationships are all about. And that's what I got wrong. I had the wrong people around me, and I got it wrong until I learned this, that relationships are intended to amplify the human experience. If I like watching the sun going down in Hawaii, it's much better when I'm there with my wife. If I like to go down to Topgolf and just have a good time, no, I'm not trying to do anything other than have a good time. But if I bring a few friends with me and we have a good time, and so on and so on. And so that's why I'm saying that I'm very careful who I spend my time with, like you should as well, because of the simple fact that you only get one life that we know about to live. And so therefore you want to make it the best possible to go ahead. And I was at Van Nuys, and I was talking to a friend of mine, a police officer. He was telling me, man, you are so lucky. You left, you did this, and you're still here in this crappy, and the city and the chief. And and I told him, you could quit, right? You do realize you don't have a contract. You do realize you went beyond your career. And now you're in what's called drop program, which is a voluntary extension. You got 27 years, buddy. And when you go beyond 25 years as a police officer, those are dog years, right? I mean, you do understand you're accelerating your latter years now. That's what you're doing. But the difference is you're doing it voluntarily. So I don't think your complaint is really going to help you, man. And that's why I stay the hell away from these people. And so the point that I'm making is that, you got to do that. So let me fly through this because I don't want to ask you more questions. I just want to facilitate some of this stuff right now. That was number one. And then again, go here to dream starters or goal triggers, if you would. Something that, again, floats your boat. I'm very blessed because, like I said, I love helping kids. 99% of what we do with our nonprofit organization, we do it privately. The only reason we put or make public 1% of what we do is because we want to inspire other people to do. Inspire others to help kids and so on and so on. But 99% of what we do it privately for that very same reason. And so again, look at all this right here. These are just a few of the things that I would encourage you to consider when you do that. The beginning of all achievement, and it starts with desire. You got to have the desire. I want to be, like I said, my mom today is my mom's birthday, as a matter of fact. She turns 80, and I'm very blessed that she's still with me. Her kick is to go visit her hometown in Mexico. She has a home down there that I don't have to call and ask for permission from anybody to give me time to go take her. I like to deliver her to her home because she can't get around on her own anymore. And so she likes me, of all my other siblings, to take her. And to me, done. Even if I just go to drop her off and go back in a couple of weeks to pick her up, that's good enough for me. Not have to worry about a thing, not have to ask for time off, not have to ask for vacation, talk to my supervisor who tells me, but you just took her. You really need to leave again? I don't want to explain myself to anybody. I'm actually going to go next week. I don't even know the dates, but in a week or two to drop her off on Tuesday. I'm with her Wednesday. I fly back here Thursday. I'm here home Friday, and Saturday I leave for Europe with FFS. And I don't have to ask anybody for permission. So that's part of what floats my boat as well. And so again, I love being here with you guys. It's my mom's birthday. I could be at her house right now, but I will be later on. I'm going to take her to dinner, but I also believe in balance. And she wants me to focus on this because she understands that because of what we do here, she gets to live life on her terms at this point in her life because of all that, FFS has done for us as well. So she understands all that. Number three, what you see is what you get. Like I told you earlier, if you really do think life sucks, guess what? You're right. If you really, really, really think you're going to fail yet again here, like you failed at the other 50 business opportunities you've given a shot, you're probably right. But if you really believe in your heart that you're worthy of all that this world and God has to offer you, then guess what? You're right as well. So anyway, that's number three. Number four, can you believe it? And that's where the shaft syndrome comes in. I'm not going to get too much into it. Read it for yourself. Number five, stand on the shoulders of giants. I mean, you realize that you don't have to go too far. You don't have to go too far to another company. You don't even have to go to another team. But we are talking about being in a team where you can learn from. I'm just being random here. Daniela Knock, who was our number one producer. Congratulations, Knock, for the month of March as well. You got church campaign questions. You do realize you have, Alan. You have police questions. You do realize you have me. I mean, teachers. There's George. There's Hatter. There's people that are masters of their trade. Now that we don't leverage it, well, that's on us. And I'll be the very first to tell you, I don't feel bad for anybody. A little bit of empathy, but never sympathy, because we all make our own choices. And that's just the way life works. The question is, can we own our mistakes? Can we own our victories? Most people can't. I am where I am because of me, and that's it. Nobody else's fault, not my race, not my sex, not my anything. It's just me. Very, very simple. And so I think that magic happens when you take ownership of your life and your business. So again, I'm really big into standing on the shoulders of giants, because no matter what you think, I want to go after this There are people in other companies. Hell, we got people in this webinar right now that are from other companies, as a matter of fact, trying to see what we're doing. And I don't boot anybody out. If you take the information and run with it more than people within my own team, bless your heart. But I'm saying don't waste these years, because I'm telling you, as you guys know, for the last couple of years, I've been semi-retired, I guess you could call it. And I'm looking forward real soon to just simply pulling the pin and say, hey guys, thanks for the memories. And that's just me, to go from 90% retired to 100% retired. And I'm not embarrassed to say that. And there's no shame in the game of having to say, well, I don't want to really leave my team. And listen, you guys have 15 years, for God's sakes, of listening to me on Sunday night conference calls, Wednesday night conference calls, Saturday morning live meetings, webinars every Saturday morning, and so on. That, to me, all we can do is all we can do. Number 6, manage time with the laser focus. I heard somebody, I forget who it was this week from the team, say it best. You got to have your calendar. Don't be the one that operates that. It's all up here. I have my calendar. Not with technology is in your phone, but because it's on your phone, you take it for granted. You know how many people were on this webinar right at 9 or right before 9, and yet others got here so late because the text didn't go out to 9:01, and had the text message not gone out at all, they wouldn't have made it at all. And to miss this type of information and hopefully pick up on it next week, buddy, it's called wishful thinking. It's not going to happen. I'll tell you right now how the movie ends, because I've seen this movie a bunch of times. It doesn't have a happy ending. All right. So anyways, number 6, number 7, act now and keep acting. One of my best mentor I've had in my lifetime always used to say the best way to win is to stop stopping and quit quitting. And man, we've got people that, including myself, we love to start, stop, start. The dog gets sick. Let me stop. Let me start again. Now my wife is mad at me. Let me stop. And I mean, we've all done it. But act now and keep acting. Number 8, champions manage fear and doubt. I'm very proud of Stephen. He was going to go down to the police station to knock out the event by himself, literally by himself, because I couldn't make it. Wednesday was my wife's birthday. And so I told him, I'm sorry, Stephen, but I can't come with you because I don't want to get divorced. Okay, I don't want to tell my wife I'm going to bail on her birthday to come to a police barbecue. And he understood. And so I'm sure there was a little bit of uncertainty in him as to what to expect. Thankfully, my daughter, the RN, she called me the day before saying, hey, I'm going to pick up mom. I'm going to take it down to Glen Ivy Spa for the day. And so, perfect. What was I going to do? Well, hell, I'd rather go with Stephen. And so because my daughter picked up my wife and took her to the spa, well, then I went ahead and went with Stephen. But the point of it is that he was going to do it regardless of how fearful, or maybe he wasn't fearful, just a little hesitant, but he was going to do it. So good for him. But it's better if somebody comes with you. And here you have somebody with you all the time. And so anyways, Fido is more than a dog's name. I find out what it means. You'll read it and find out. And so the point that I'm making is that these are all really, really, really cool ways for you to stay focused, because it's not what you know, it's not what license you have, but what you do with all that you know and the licenses that you have. I know that the ratio of success by just being licensed is very low, means nothing. And so therefore, you're going to have to further yourself and better yourself in other areas of your life. Do you have a clear picture of your burning desire? Yes or no? My dream for me, and I'm just going to take more time, my dream started with when I was a police officer and I couldn't make it happen with my one single salary. And I had told my wife that she was going to be able to stay home with my kids full time, something I never had because my mom had to work like a dog her entire life. And you know, the lowest point in my life was, well, one of the lowest points was when she had to go to work. She had to go to work because they came to our house and they were going to repossess the family minivan back in 2000 and was it 2000? I'm sorry, 98, 99. Because as much as she wanted, and I wanted for her to be a stay-at-home mom, we couldn't afford it. It was just that simple. It was, and it is very, very tough on 2 incomes, let alone on 1. And that started my journey, my search for the famous $600. I was looking for an opportunity where I could make $600 a month so I could bring my wife back home. And man, did that journey take me so many different places. But I was able to find something that generated the consistent $600. They didn't repossess the van. We saved the van. and she came back home, which was probably one of the best days of my life. And my wife came back home and stayed home with her kids. So I believe, and she believed she belonged. And like I said, I could taste the desire, if you would, to try to get her back home. And that's what started. So once that was achieved, I just replaced that with something else. My other dream was to travel. My kids had never traveled. We had never traveled. Every time I took vacation from the police department, it was a honeydew vacation, just stay at home, paint the fence, do something around the house. That was vacation. And I always wanted to take them somewhere, which was Hawaii. And so I went to work, and sure enough, saved up enough money with my side gig to make money enough to take them to Hawaii. Came back from Hawaii. A week later, I found out that we won the contest to Hawaii. So we were back to Hawaii, but it was nicer because Hawaii is better when it's free. So anyways, have you written a statement of definite purpose? What's your purpose on this earth? I talk to people who honestly feel their purpose is to have their jobs crap all over them all week and just feel sorry for themselves on the weekend. And I always tell them, you're not going to achieve much feeling that way. Like, you might be doing something now, but that's not your definite purpose. I mean, your definite purpose is primarily to live life on your terms, to help other people, to help those people that need help closest to you. I mean, whatever it is, you have to decide that. Have you decided that what you will give in return for your success? And that's where most people fail. Most people want it all. Most people want something. Most people have big dreams. But when it comes to the price tag, they are not willing to do it. We have people that come here, they go, they come, they go, they maintain their license. I don't know why, because they haven't ever used it. They're probably never going to use it, but they think that just because they're here, there's still hope. And I'm telling you that there is no hope unless you are doing things that matter. And doing things that matter means, of course, talking to people, recruiting people, and so on. Otherwise, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't waste your time. I mean, I'll be the very first to tell you that. But have you really decided that what you're going to give in return for your success? And the price is high. We've got a lot of people on this team and in the company and in this world paying the price every single day. And for me to tell you that I'm paying that price right now compared to what I've paid in the past would be a lie. But then again, that's why I did give 15 years of my life. I mean, I always say do something so that at some point you no longer have to ever do it again. But to pay the price of existing is more painful. The price of regret is more painful. The price of, well, maybe I wasn't the chosen one when you really were, is even more painful. So have you set a date for accomplishment of your goals? For some of you, can you just show up on time to the Saturday webinars? Just prove to yourself without a text, no text message. Today I was debating, do I send it, do I not send it? Because I wanted to make it a point. But then I figured, now we probably have some people need to hear this who are not going to be on the webinar unless I text them. That's why the text was late. So I sent it at the last minute. But, have you set a date when you're going to accomplish this? Have you created a plan to accomplish your goal? Is the plan written down? Most people, the answer is no. Have you written an affirmation statement that tricks your subconscious into thinking you have already attained your burning desire? It's referred to as the Pygmalion principle. Anybody know what that is? Pygmalion principle? Anybody? Unmute yourself. Come on. Anybody know? Any guesses? I mean, I get it. We're getting a little deep, but hell, you better get deep if you really want to make it in this world. Any guesses from anybody? Come on, anybody? All right. Well, let me just show you right here.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Okay. They also call it the Rosenthal effect in
Yes.
psychology. So it's to when you have like really high expectations, and it leads you to have that performance.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Yeah, thank you very much. Really good job, because that's exactly what it's also known as. And here, I just pulled it up right now. I don't screw it up. But just to give an example, the Pygmalion principle comes back, just like I said, the Rosenthal effect. But the Pygmalion comes specifically from it's a Greek myth of Pygmalion, who was a sculptor who fell so much in love with the perfectly beautiful statue he created that the statue came to life. Does that make sense? And so what I'm saying is that, can you see yourself winning to the point that you can almost feel whatever it is winning means to you? For me, I could see my wife coming back home and telling her job, thank you for the lifeline, but we don't need it anymore. That was a pretty cool thing to do. I could literally feel my wife and my kids in Hawaii for the very first time at the luau. I had never been to a damn luau, but I kind of had seen videos and stuff, so I kind of knew what it was going to be like. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And going back to relationships that I always wanted, my mom worked like a dog her entire life, that I always wanted to take her to Hawaii. And before you know it, we were able to do that as well. So the point that I'm making is that Pygmalion principle can work for you, but you have to have a sense of what it is you want, of what it is that you want as it relates to that as well. So anyway, let me wrap it up. And then read the statements at least twice a day, morning and night, and have you change your environment and surround yourself with symbols that remind you of your goals and resemble your life once you achieve it. Here's the last thing that I'll share with you that I thought was pretty cool. And again, this comes back, and I thank my mentor that, for many, many years ago, that really helped me understand one thing. And he taught me that the subconscious mind is where it all is decided. Ultimately, you're going to win or lose based on your subconscious mind. And one thing I did learn that he taught me was that the subconscious mind is so gullible that it does not differentiate that which is real from that which is vividly imagined. Now, that can work for us or against us. So my challenge to you is that make sure you make it work for you. What I want to do is I want to turn it over to you guys, see if anybody has any questions, anything you can add on. Oh, I'm going to give you the book in just 1 second, so you can go ahead and download it. But I want to make sure that if anyone has any questions whatsoever, you can ask, or any thoughts on this. Anybody? Let's make it real
definitely. Quick. Yes, absolutely, Javier. I'm sorry my camera isn't working, but yeah, when you asked a question, unfortunately, I had a call to come in, but I often say, that instead of being a paranoid, that my goal is to be an inverse paranoid. I've heard that term used quite a few times, meaning that instead of, always subconsciously thinking the worst is going to happen, because that's natural for some, right? The negative thoughts, but to say, well, I'm going to intentionally expect for the best to happen, because I'm an inverse paranoid, meaning that's exactly what I feel like the best is going to happen. Like I imagine the best to happen. And as a coach, sometimes we think about things like visualization. So we envision, those things happening, that the opposite of what, our thoughts may tell us, the negative. So what if this happened? What if that happened? Overthinking things. But what if the best could happen? What if my results are mind blowing if I do this, if I go live, or whatever the case may be. So just to your point, you really can't trick yourself. And I know in the military, you used to say that false motivation leads to real motivation right before your very eyes. So sometimes you can just speak a thing or write a thing that's super positive. And I know that's been happening for me, because I've been super successful here in the past quarter, just made Success Society. And I'm like, shucks, I literally imagine me doing it. I wrote down Success Society is done. And here it is at the end of March, I got Success Society. And I already wrote down 75K club is already done. So, I'm writing these things down, I'm speaking these things out, and I just expect them to happen. Like, I just got to make it happen, because, I believe it. So that's me. I'm done speaking.
Thank you. And before we do that, I just wanted to also take a moment to congratulate you. I was going to bring this at the end. Shatika just hit.
Oh my goodness.
Society. Yeah. So just hit the Success Society. Congratulations. There's the 75K club, 100,000, and then on to all the other diamonds as well. So congratulations on a job well done. And again, we're part of different teams, but at the same time, we're all part of one big family called FFS. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. You've been a great part of that. I appreciate your leadership, your servant leadership.
Thank you. Anybody else, any thoughts on what we're talking about? Anything at all? Anything? Because please just interrupt me, because my whole thing. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Kathy. Go ahead.
I just want to share something that's really important. I think that you guys could share with your clients and even for yourselves. This country is about to go through some big changes, and so you can either be part of the solution or part of the problem. There's a couple of black swan events happening. If you're not familiar with that, you can look it up in the financial industry. And one black swan can be detrimental to the economy, but we've got several of them happening. But at this point, you can decide if you're going to be adaptive and make the changes you need to be able to continue succeeding in this world, or keep doing the same things as you always have done, and you're going to get the same things. And this is something for agents and for clients. I mean, this is the conversation with the clients, because what they've been doing so far is not going to work in the future for them.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, appreciate that. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and just give out the link. If somebody can let me know, please, if it works. It's going to be in the chat box, and I just want to make sure that it's there. I'm telling you, if you're going to do anything with, this weekend, do this. You know, my weekends, for the most part, I usually record after we're done recording it. I have another webinar after this. I clean them both up, I edit them, and so that's my afternoon to reflect and also get myself ready for the coming week, and leave nothing to chance, because every time I've left something to chance, like this past barbecue, something has always gone wrong, and that's just the way life is. But we can control that by making sure we don't do that again. Did it work?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, last call for questions, comments, or concerns from anybody about anything.
Are you available right after the call, Javier, for a few minutes?
After my next one, I'll give you a call.
Okay. All right. I have at 11 o'clock. Well, let's just chat after like 1:30. I have appointments until then.
Got it. I'll try to give you a call. If it's short, I'll give you a call right now. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all that you do. And please don't ever take anything I say the wrong way. On the contrary, I want you to win more than you want yourself to win. And I can promise you that the beauty about the FFS business model is it's very predictable. Long as you do your part, the end result can be in your favor, but you're going to have to take an active role in ownership of your business as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for everything. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.